Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and we are here for a nerd war. But before we get to the nerd war, man, we had some breaking news that I just couldn't resist talking about with you guys live. I got all my players here. We're all going to talk about it. What's up, everybody? So excited to have packed house. Making his debut tonight. So happy to have Lonely Banter himself, LB. Welcome to the show, man.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Glad to be here.
Excited to have you. This is gonna be fun. So this isn't typically what we do. First, we're gonna talk a bit, but we're gonna get to our nerd war, which I'm gonna snip out and put this later in the weekend. So if you're watching this video, you're watching the main topic this weekend. I'll put the whole nerd war on. If you're watching live, though, you're gonna catch it all. But LB, welcome to the show. Excited to have you. Also, you've done this before, but not officially on the show yet. So Yellow, welcome to the reigns officially here. How you feeling, Yellow?
I feel great, man. I'm excited to get in here and to defend my status as a nerd warrior.
There
I appreciate you.
Gonna make it. And then back again, Darth Daddy Lunga of the Grey Council. Oh man. So wait, did you win yet, or did you lose already?
No, I won the first.
That's right. You won. You're 1-1.
First day of the season and lost.
You're 1-1. All right.
Yeah,
and then my Alfred to my Batman, my being me. Chris is here. Hey, what's up, Chris?
What up, guys? How you doing?
I'm good,
Off
but
camera,
Chris,
'cause
you're
I'm
not
doing some
fighting.
stuff.
That means
No.
I'm fighting tonight because
Yes.
one of my Damien, I'm calling you out. Damien was supposed to be here and he had to edit. Oh, Damien. So now I got to fight. So hey, I'll make the best of it. That's how I guess I'll fight on the show when a player has to bail last minute. But it's gonna be fun tonight when we do our nerd wars. But before we get to that, I got a topic I got to talk about, guys. I just put out a video calling out the dangerousness of Ray Fisher, Mr. Yay Fisher, as I call him, just because until he corrects himself and the lies he spread about myself and Jody, which he put out there, he's Yay Fisher to me. But Yay Fisher's been out there, everything seemed to be good, and then he put out this Forbes article, which I broke down. If you haven't yet watched it, I'll put it up here later for you to check it out if you're watching this on the replay. But I don't want to bury the lead. The big news: Joss Whedon himself has finally responded. I've been waiting. I've been waiting to see when is he going to finally say something. Well, it took being called a racist for Joss Whedon to get out of his cave and come out and have one of his reps make a statement regarding this. So I want to go through this quick because, look, I don't think this is good for Ray at all. We'll see. I already see some people, DC fans, trying, well, it's a he said, she said. But for those of you who are out of the loop or didn't watch my first video, here's what race made the accusation in the Forbes article. I always suspected that race was a determining factor for the way things went down, but it wasn't until this past summer that I was able to prove it. Race was just one of the issues with the reshoot process. There were massive blowups, threats, coercion, tauntings, unsafe work conditions, belittling, gaslighting like you wouldn't believe. He then went on to say that a lot of the characters that were removed from the film, such as Joe Morton's cyborg, his dad, his mom, Kiersey Clemens, who plays Iris West, as well as a couple other actors of color, he said were all removed from the film as proof that that's why it was racist. And also that there were some conversations done from executives that were racist. Anyway, Cinema Blend actually has now said a source close to the production spoke to them, and Cinema Blend's I wouldn't put them near like we got this covered. Cinema Blend's a little bit better than the other ones, so I'll take this seriously for now. But they say they spoke to a production expert there, the source close to production, who said clarified that these characters had been removed from Justice League long before Joss Whedon came on board as a substitute, and that it was not Whedon's decision to remove any of these characters from the theatrical cut. They went so far to argue that the statement that these roles were cut by Joss is false. Now, furthermore, I'd like to also add, it wasn't just people of color that were cut. Willem Dafoe, Amber Heard, Ray Porter. There were a lot of people cut from that movie. And to me, to just say it was because of racism, to me, is a stretch. Look, I take that seriously, but that movie was a convoluted mess. There were dozens of characters in that movie. Jesse Eisenberg, another one that was pulled. Joe Mantelani, Deathstroke, right? He made a cameo, but apparently he was going to be in it now, and now Jared Leto. There are so many characters in that movie, it makes sense to me why they would have tried to trim it and focus on the main heroes. And like I said in my previous video, I'm sorry, if I'm getting a Justice League movie, I don't want it to be a Cyborg movie. I want it to be a Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, then some Flash, and then some Cyborg in the level of importance. And so if they decided to cut down Ray's part because for, clarity and shrinking things down, that is not proof of racism. So Joss's source is already defending Joss on that. But then here comes the big kicker. Ray went on to say the event that triggered him to start all of this was this summer when he found out through someone else. What set my soul on fire and forced me to speak out about Joss Whedon this summer was becoming informed, meaning he was told by someone else, that Joss had ordered that the complexion of an actor of color be changed in post-production because he didn't like the color of their skin tone. Man, with everything 2020 has been, that was the tipping point for me. So, look, I had so many questions already about this. Like, what does that mean? Was it an alien? Was it really because they were black? Like, what is this? That's a big accusation to lob out there. Well, a spokesman for Whedon has spoken to Cinema Blend on condition of anonymity, claim anonymity. This was also confirmed through Entertainment Weekly that this was false. The individual who offered the statement acknowledged that this was just something that he had heard from someone else and accepted as truth. He's already calling out the fact that this is hearsay, is what it is, when in fact simple research would prove that it was false. As is standard on almost all films, there were numerous people involved with mixing the final product of this film, including the editor, special effects person, composer, etc., with the senior colorist responsible for the final vision's tones, colors, and mood. This process was further complicated by the fact that Zach shot on film while Joss shot on digital, which required the team led by the same senior colorist who has worked on the previous films for Zach to reconcile the two. So he's basically saying, dude, Zach's colorist did all that. I didn't have any say with that. That was a choice made by the coloring team to make this happen. So, look, this is to come forward and make sure your reps are talking now, to me, proves that Ray has got to be careful what he's saying. Like, my biggest problem is, like, look, if something bad or something racist happened on this set, by all means, tell us, Ray. But, Jesus, you can't just go out and start saying they're racist because your part got cut. There is no proof in that Forbes article that has anything to do with that. Guys, does anyone disagree with me on this now that we've seen all the information and we're seeing the response from the team? Does anyone see where Ray is coming from? I mean, it just feels like it feels like the story has changed tremendously from the beginning. He's even admitting, yeah, I got more intel as I went. And he's sort of tripling and quadrupling down as he finds things out and leading, well, actually, I guess it wasn't just Joss. It was this. He's kind of all over the place. What do you guys think of this? LB, I'll get to you first. Do you have any thoughts on this matter?
First thing with me is that it's not a Ray Fisher thing for me. I hate when people say, I got this information, I'm going to talk right now, but I can't tell you the information until later. He's been doing this the entire time. So it's like, bruh, I don't want to hear none of this stuff you got to say in the interview. Why are you doing an interview if you're not going to give us any information? When you can give the information, give us the information. Until then, just keep your mouth shut, man, because this makes him look bad. It's making him look like the boy that cried wolf, and people are going to call him a Jussie Smollett clone or whatever because he's making stuff up. Now, my thing is, if this is true and it turns out to be true, well, they need to do the right thing and fire whoever, apologize to whoever, but until you can actually speak on what is actually going on and show us some actual evidence and facts, I mean, I don't want to hear it, man. This is just hearsay for now. And you claim to be a direct source. Like, how do you have any knowledge, Ray Fisher, as an actor that's barely known to what's going on in post-production?
Facts.
Like,
he also didn't understand how the makeup department worked, because he kept claiming that his barber deserved to get credit. And I've talked to multiple people who are on that set, people who work in production, like, you have to be hired by the studio to actually get the credit because there's contracts. It's complicated. Look, he's so out of his league on a lot of this stuff, and he makes these blanket accusations. And what you said is so spot on. I've been saying it from the beginning, too. Tell us what happened. Shouldn't be afraid of the truth. If there's things, we'll rally behind you, man. But he's so vague and stretches it. Oh, it's maddening. Yellow, got thoughts on this you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted a couple of times when you were reading the article, it sounded like the article from, what was it, Cinema Blend, I believe, they positioned it as though Joss was the only racist person. And when I read the interview earlier, Ray Fisher talking, he was saying that it was kind of it was all of them up there. It was Joss Whedon, it was Jeff Johns, it was John Berg, it was a whole bunch of other people who was involved between him and those executive producers and directors and all of that. Like, it was a lot of people who was involved that he was getting this kind of overall racially insensitive feel from. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's true or not. I certainly am more inclined to listen to the black person when they say they're experiencing something racist, because uh, uh, a lot of times just because you don't have enough evidence to prove doesn't mean that it's not what's happening. You know what I'm saying? You get a lot of those coded language, you get all kinds of, we see it all the time, like dog whistling, we get coded language, we get all kinds of little like slight changes that need to be made. I mean, we even heard John Boyega talk about not being able to wear certain things because of wanting to appeal to a broader audience. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah, but see, I'm glad you brought that up,
am
because it's like, you're right. That's stuff we have to work on. But I think that's something that
Right.
people are just ignorant about. And to me, like, that requires conversations to be like, guys, you got to stop doing that. Like, you're trying to please this audience, but do you realize that's racist? And I genuinely think there are executives and people who just don't understand that it's racist. And to me,
Yeah,
like, conversations about it are actually how you solve that problem, right? And you solve
Right.
it, not coming out with these broad accusations and saying, "Oh my God, they're racist. They're doing it." He's just out of his element in this because he's not actually going to create change. He's labeling himself as difficult. He's not dropping actually any facts or evidence, and so he looks crazy. And the reality is, like you said, if something actually was going wrong, where Joss is in there saying that guy's too black, we need to make him lighter, like that is problematic. I see the problem there, but I mean, Whedon's saying that's not the case. So now it's a he said, she said.
Yeah.
Where's your proof? And the fact that Ray's getting it from someone else and didn't see it himself is such a problem for me. I just want to get around the people. Lunga, get you in here too. Do you have a thought, Lunga?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about this morning too. We were reading the article. Listen, when this first came out, I wanted to believe Ray. You know, I wanted to like, oh, there's some tea being spilled here. Let's find out what really happened. And as it's gone on, it's just like it's getting worse and it's getting harder to believe him. Not because you don't want to believe him, but just because it's like you're making it hard for us to believe you. After a while, you just keep giving us this vague ideas and no solid thing. And when I was reading that article today, man, and when I'm reading it and he goes, "Oh, I didn't know about this until after I already came out and told something." Oh, so now you got so and so's whispering in your ear because you know you made a stink and other people may be upset and they're all talking in your ear and stuff. So it's just, to me, none of the way he's been handling this, it's just stretching out and stretching out and stretching out and adding nothing to it to make it move along to say, hey, you know what? There's something here. We need to look at it. It just keeps stagnating. You know, and it's just stagnating, and no one else is even like, I mean, no one else is coming. I mean, Momoa did. Okay, he's his friend and he came out. Everyone's mum.
Well, and don't
No
you?
one wants to.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, don't you all? Do you? I get the vibe that, and I said this before, but I'm curious if I'm the only one. I get the vibe from Momoa that he just believes Ray. He's just like, oh man, that all these things you heard, that they must have happened, and I feel bad for you. That's because he's like a surfer, chill dude. He's out there, and I sense he just really was like, yeah, that was a stressful shoot. I didn't like that they changed the movie. Everyone was upset because they changed the movie. Let's not forget, they completely changed the movie. The studio wanted to make it more Marvel-like, and then they had this opportunity to exploit a tragedy, which they did. I don't want to ignore that. I do think they did that, but they're allowed to. They're the studio. They fund it. And I think Ray was probably being difficult. I do believe he didn't want to say booyah. I'm sure that we're like, why is my character being trimmed? Why? Whoa. It was way better here. And it's like, dude, who are you? That's not how it works in the industry. That's not abuse because they don't want to hear your, creative choices as, oh, well, yeah, I guess we should keep Ray's part. Dude, I didn't care about Cyborg in that movie. I'm sure it's better. But I did not go to the Justice League movie to see a Cyborg movie. I went there to see Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all the people coming together. That's what the commercial audience wants. And it's also frustrating because he's gonna get his movie finally. I don't know why he did all this, for the fact that he's saying he heard from somebody that apparently he changed the skin tone of somebody. Look, I do think that can be racist the way that was done, but that also can have so many other reasons why they did that. Hey, you're popping out of the frame. He's too dark in the frame. I got to lighten him up so I can see him. Or there's so many ways you could do that.
And the whole movie's dark.
Totally.
Add on to that.
Go ahead, LB. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the same thing as you. Like this whole lightening the skin tone. Like if anyone has done video editing, like it's called color correction, color grading. Like I could be too dark in a shot and I make myself lighter, or I'm too light next to somebody else and I make myself darker. Like things like that can happen. And I mean, for me, like if there's racism going on, I'm going to speak up on it, and especially in the era we're in now, where more people are speaking up about these issues, and he's not speaking out on specific things. He just keeps dancing around and stretching this out. So it's like, how are you supposed to have us believe what you're saying if you're saying nothing and you're just dancing around things? Like, spit it out, bruh. Come on.
Yeah. Facts. Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be bad news for him, because unless he can come out and he's saving like the receipt or something that shows like, here's the audio tape of him being racist, unless he can actually start dropping some serious, stuff to make us think it. I don't know how he gets out of this one. And now he's starting to defame people. Now he's just saying it's racist. I think dude, Ray, I wanted to believe you. He proved he just shares tweets. He just put out tweets that defamed Jody and I because he was upset we were asking questions. Like, it just shows the integrity of what he has. Like, he clearly made a petty move by doing that, and he instigated us, which if he had just ignored us, we probably would have stopped making Ray Fisher videos, and it wouldn't have been as big of a deal for him. But he chose to go for the attention. He chose to be that. And it's such an attention-grabbing move to go to Forbes when you finally got the investigation you've been clamoring for, and you still can't stay quiet. You got to do an interview before the investigation is done. I'm so over this guy. Go ahead. Somebody wanted final words as we go around, and we'll start our nerd word.
Yeah, really quick though. When it first started, when Ray Fisher first dropped, I was like, oh, he just got punked out one day and he really felt bad about it. And now he's trying to make it seem like Joss Whedon completely ruined his experience. I wasn't siding with the Ray Fishers. I wasn't on the Ray Fisher side when he first came out talking about Joss Whedon. I was like, not the guy who created Firefly, not the beloved director who gave us Serenity. This can't be true. I don't believe you. Where is the history of his abuse in his long illustrious career? Where is the history of that, right? But as time went on, right, and we have Momoa, who has decided to come out and say, I rock with Ray Fisher. I believe what he's saying. He was on that set too. So he may have experienced a lot of the things that Ray Fisher could be alluding to. The problem is Ray keeps alluding instead of stating. I'm all for that. I need more evidence. I'm not ready to come out here and say anybody's a racist. Not yet. But the fact that we haven't seen a lot of people come out in defense of any of the actors or anything, come out in defense of Joss Whedon or Jeff Johns or John Berg or any of the other people who are in charge of that, I think that does speak a lot. And Ray said it in himself in that interview with Forbes. He was saying, since I have not received any kind of cease and desist letter, that speaks volumes as well. So I don't know. There may be something more to it than.
Well, I don't think he has, because she's not sharing trade secrets, and he's saying vague things, right? He's very general in his accusations, which to me is a sign of someone who's not being honest. Like, because the reality is, or someone who's afraid. Because the reality is, like I said, I know defamation. I looked it up really well with what happened to me. You could be sued for anything. Let me clarify. But you can't lose a defamation if you're telling the truth. If you can prove you're telling the truth, you can say the truth. You can always say the truth if it's the truth. And so I don't understand why he won't just say the truth. What is he holding on? He's like, well, I'm hiding.
Well,
I want to save my
NDA,
contacts.
You can't say the truth.
Dude, he has blown through an NDA right now. Like, the NDA is done.
Maybe.
He's to say the specific example of what Joss Whedon said in the edit room versus say he did it in the edit room. They're the same thing. An NDA is not going to the NDA doesn't be strictly don't say specifics, but you can say broad things. An NDA has nothing to do with this.
I mean,
go ahead,
I'm
LB.
for sure they don't last that long.
I don't think an NDA covers racism, but I'm no lawyer.
No, you are correct. It doesn't. Right. If someone like abuses you or harms you, you can say it. That's what's so frustrating about this. We got lots more to talk about here. I'm going to trim this, though, for the replay. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to do a whole Nerd War, so we're going to do it here live, but you're going to be able to watch it after the fact. I'll upload it later because I want to have this one be our center video to get those sweet, sweet views. I want to thank my guests here. Check out The Lonely Banter. LB, thank you for being here. Hold on, let me make sure everyone's on screen. Don't forget to check out Yellow. Plug your what's the link to your channel, Yellow?
Yellow Does It, fam. You can find me right there on YouTube, Yellow Does It, and you can find me on The Great Council with this ugly somebody 5 days a week.
There it is. Check out The Great Council with Darth Lunga. Thank you, my man. And check out Planet of the Nerds with Chris. Thank you guys for being here. We got way more with this whole crew, so don't go anywhere. I'm just putting an end screen up, and we'll be right back. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Smash that like button while you're watching. We got so much in store.